Well, this is going to be an interesting one today. You guys have been sending me a ton of messages, comments, emails about everything that's going on regarding this Pokemon CT scanning service or what's been going on. Now, I heard a little bit about this maybe a week ago now, probably or so, and I didn't really think much about it. I didn't really look into it. I didn't really, I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Don't really care. More has obviously come out about this. Loads of people have done videos on this, talking about the Pokemon CT scanning company, I guess, that is providing this service now to allow you to essentially scan anything, right? From packs to sealed product and what have you. Now, obviously, it's not just Pokemon. It's any form of, trading cards. So this is going to affect things like sports cards, Magic, and so on. So today I'm going to be going through my thoughts and opinions on this. We're going to be going through some information from some articles, and we're also going to be looking at the actual services these people are providing to see whether or not this is actually going to be good, bad, pointless, or whatever. I'm going to be going through all of it, especially when it comes to your investments, because I think that's the biggest concern from people that are watch me in this channel is, these sealed products behind me, and are they worthless? Are they now ruined? You could probably see in the background some Fusion Strike booster boxes. They're going to see whether or not they've got Gengars in them. Whatever it is, we'll go through it. So strap in. This is going to be an interesting one. This is just going to be me, Chan, probably going, have a little rant. Let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing we're looking at today is PC Gamer, right? So PC Gamer actually did an article on this maybe a few days ago now. This was actually done on the 31st of July. So as of filming of this is the 5th of August, so less about a week since this article. And it says here, the CT scanning company is sowing chaos for Pokemon card collectors by selling X-ray scans of booster packs. We firmly believe we stand in the zone of chaotic good. Now, this is going to be interesting. So I would assume this is going to tell me more information about what has been going on. So we're going to be going through this article, right? And then we've got another article that we'll look at, and then we'll look at what is going on regarding the pricing of some of this stuff. And then I'll give you my thoughts as we go. And yeah, this seems like pretty interesting stuff. Whether it's good or bad, who knows? So let's get into it. So it says you can find out what you're sitting on an unopened Charizard for a scan of $75 per pack. Okay, so we'll find out when we go to the actual website in a minute. So let's zoom in and see. So it says here, collectible card games are fueled by speculation and chance, right? Unopened booster packs can have shockingly high values simply because we don't know what's in them. A single sealed Pokemon first edition booster pack is worth upwards of $2,000. Because until it's opened, we can't be certain if it doesn't hold a Charizard that could buy you a new house. Yeah, I mean, if you get it in a PSA 10, yeah, definitely. This month, however, has brought upheaval for investors who have built portfolios on the Black Lotus potential in their sealed Magic the Gathering slates. Yeah, 100% agree on that one. Because of CT Scanning Company is now selling a chance to peek inside booster packs before they're opened. So like I say, it doesn't affect just Pokemon, all of it. And of course, yeah, Magic the Gathering is, one that I've been doing for a very long time. And especially if you have, potential Black Lotus, it's crazy stuff. 2 weeks ago, Pokemon TCG YouTuber OKJLove published a video about recent efforts to examine booster packs with X-ray scanning, including a case study from Industrial Inspection and Consulting, a company that offers industrial CT scanning services to test and analyze products, machine components, and more recently sealed Pokemon boosters. Okay, interesting. So it says here, CT scanning compiles a 3D model from 2D X-ray slices, which can be sifted through to examine an object's interior. In its CGC scanning case study, the LL and C explored whether CT scanning could be used to look inside a sealed CCG product, managing to successfully identify a first edition Hypno from the Pokemon TCG fossil set after placing it in between other cards to simulate a booster pack. That's actually quite interesting, right? So, all right, it's explaining how it works. So let's go into this even more. So it says, on Pokemon card investing subreddits, collectors reassured themselves that there would be minimal ramifications, knowing that CT scanning is also expensive and it would prevent widespread access. A few days later, in response to the high demand, it would be offering CT card scanning services, having worked around the clock to develop a reliable method to provide an affordable cost per pack for CT scanning. Collectors can request a quote to have their boosters X-rayed, starting at $75 a pack. Well, we'll see what their prices are now. This came out a few days ago, and clearly they're speeding things up. That is still pricey. Let's be honest, that's not cheap. I mean, if you're gonna do a vintage pack, right, as they did like a fossil pack, then it's not too bad, right? Let's say you had a heavy vintage pack, I don't know, heavy base set pack or whatever. $75 is, a small price in the grand scheme of things to pay if you have a heavy pack and you want to know whether or not it's got Charizard in it, right? That's just the way it is, right? So I think that side of things is great. You're not going to go out scanning, a Twilight Masquerade booster pack that costs you $3 and you're paying $75 for the hope that it might have a Greninja in it. No, right? And that's the difficulty there when it comes to Mon. Vintage, yeah, that's it's not a big ask to pay. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to watch the video. You guys can go and watch the video. I'll link it in the description if you do want to go and watch the video based on, I guess, how it works and the process of how it works. But really, this is going to be an interesting turning point. It really is. So we're on the website. Okay, we have here the collector card CT scanning services. So this is the company in that article which they talked about. And yeah, this seems to be a very, very recent thing. I did look at their website. They do scan like a whole range of random stuff. Like, they've clearly been around for a long time and they just scan a whole bunch of stuff. But this is specifically what we were talking about when it comes to these trading cards services, of course, right? So there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be interesting regarding this. We'll be going through the information they have on their website, the prices, how they do it, all that sort of stuff, whether or not it's going to be good, and then I'll go through whether I think it's going to be good, bad, will it affect us, does it really matter, is this just something to ignore, or whatever. We'll see. So let's go through. So they go through like how it works, so we can actually see, this gives us an example there of a sports card. So we zoom in, we can have a look. So step 1, email them. All right. So this is their process. So if you wanted to get this done, this is how they do it. It's kind of like a PSA type thing, really. Do you know what I mean? It's like a gradient service. So basically, this is how they do it. Like how you want to do it if you want to send off. So we have the prices here. So in the article, it said $75. So $75 for a pack is expensive, right? Unless you're doing vintage. Like if you're doing vintage, again, it depends. Like if you have, like here's the thing, right? You have to have already a heavy pack. So you would have to already opened up or get an expensive product. Weigh it, know it's heavy, then go and get it scanned. And even on top of that, for it to be worth it, it needs to be a good card, right? You imagine you scan a base set pack, you pay $75 as a heavy pack, and you scan it, and it's just it's like a Hitmonchan or whatever. Yeah, it's and it's just a terrible holo, right? Raw, a lot of these card prices aren't actually worth the price of the pack that you even bought in the first place. But they need to get a PSA 10, to really be worth some form of value, right? Again, it's all well and good, but not great. Now you could say, yeah, but what happens if I scan it's got Charizard on it? Okay, great. You then can choose what you want to do with it. Do you want to open it? Do you want to sell it? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to, if you open it, and let's say it's in absolutely terrible condition and it's not going to get a 10, it's probably not even going to be worth it. You'd be better off just selling the pack or keeping it sealed. So you have a $75 offer, option to scan a pack. So that's pretty much what they mentioned in the article in there. So it has here that it takes like 1 to 2 days time to do. You will receive the CT scan files, review data yourself with free viewing software, volume, discounts available. All products are different. Locating identifiable information is not guaranteed. It's not always guarantee. It's not even a guarantee. Then we got imaging services at $15 per pack. So 15 for imaging services. What is the difference between this one? So for those who are unable to use the viewing software, receive images of potential hits from the scanning data. Does not include blending, photo editing, image merging, or warped cards. So basically you're just giving them $15 for not really anything that important. Interesting. You got kit scanning, whatever it means for a kit scan. A box scan, so I assume a whole booster box, which will be interesting. See below notes, we'll get to that. Case, so you can get a whole case if you wanted to. So, and that's special quotes for them. It's going to be interesting. Certifications and authentications. So, look, here's the thing, right? Try it before you buy it. Okay, so we've got try it before you buy it. This is their like software. So it gives you an example, right, of how they can scan. As you can see, like they've clearly scanned what looks like a pack, a booster pack. And you can see the outline on the CT scan of the Charizard. You can even see the outline on the Venusaur, the imaging. Then you know that it's in there, right? So it gives an example here, a Twilight Masquerade booster box. Perfect. I mentioned about Twilight Masquerade. They've even got an example. So as you can see here, you can see all of the booster packs all crammed into the box, of course, all stacked up and ready. And they were scanning through and they were able to find a Zapdos Holo in there. Now, I don't know whether or not this ability, the ability for them to do this, could tell you every single card in every single bit in an entire booster box. A pack is a little bit easier, right? Because it's a lot less cards. But for it to scan stuff that's like right in the middle, like to get around all of those cards, I don't know whether or not it can. Who knows? Gardevoir VMAX for an Evolving Skies booster box. Just as important as to find the details of a card is realizing what is not present. If you're looking for a specific high value card and you know details should be present that aren't, then even if you don't know what exactly the card is, you also know what it is not. For example, if you're looking for a VMAX card and you don't see the VMAX detail in the imaging that like below, then it's not a VMAX. Okay, fair enough. And it talks about sports cards as well. Give an example of sports cards: Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, Lorcana, Magic the Gathering as well is going to be, obviously affected. So with Magic is actually quite interesting. Based on our testing, traditional cards from Magic the Gathering are unable to be imaged using CT scanning. We are able to characterize the card layers and adhesive, the pith of the card stock, and even the ink lines, but not of the ink of the card face in a meaningful way. The image to the right shows, obviously, the resolution of the card corner, but it can't actually scan. That's interesting. So it says, however, newer foil-based cards are able to be imaged. That's interesting. That's actually quite interesting. So, facts and conditions. There are many products we have not scanned. Best effort will be used for unfamiliar products. We cannot guarantee a CT scan will reveal any useful or interpretable information beyond what we have demonstrated on this page. So let's put it this way, from the feel I get is it's not guarantee, it's not certain, it is a not almost a guess, but it's not accurate. Do you know what I mean? To me, it comes across as this, it still is not an accurate thing. Of course, it is new and it will be adapted, and with more time put into it, then it will progress into being more accurate over time, for sure. What are my thoughts on this? Taking away everything that we've seen in this article and over on their website and the prices and the services they apparently offer. This has happened very, very quickly. As the article said, it's basically been like a week or two, and things have turned around very, very fast. Is this going to affect not just collecting, but also investing, right? I think it's more of the investing side of things. Yeah, fair enough. You might get some people that might want to scan some packs they're looking to open, of course. But regarding still product, right? If I had one of those Fusion Shrine booster boxes up there and I could get it scanned, Again, we don't know how much it costs. I give you an example. The $15 version sounds super sketchy. I mean, whereas the $75 one, again, it sounds a bit more accurate. But let's say it was $15. Do I want to pay $15 per Fusion Strike booster pack for the possible chance that it does contain a Gengar? No, it's just not worth it. Period. Whereas if it was a vintage pack, then you can argue something different. You can really see. I think this is going to hurt vintage collectors more and investors more than modern. Absolutely. This is still early days, so it can be developed, and improved on over time, which might be more accurate at scanning, boxes and cases even as well. I mean, I personally wouldn't even bother using something like this anyway, just because it is a chance. It's like when you send a card off to get graded, and it doesn't, and you think, look, this is going to be a 10, and it doesn't come back as a 10. There is room for error here, and they've already admitted there's room for error, or there already is room for error, and a pack is easier to do than an entire box. It's not going to be worth it. And if you go back to even older sets, you go back to the black and white era where booster boxes are in their thousands, a lot of the top cards in those sets, raw, are not even worth the price of the pack that they come in, right? They're only worth it if they get a PSA 10 or if they're graded well. So it doesn't really matter. I'll give you a prime example. You go and get an XY Evolutions booster box for $800-900, right? And you pay an extortionate amount, even if you paid the $15, right, per pack, you're looking at about what, $300 to $400 cost to get it scanned. So you go and get it scanned. Actually, it would be a bit more than that. You go and get it scanned, and then it's got a hollow Charizard on it. Great. Are you going to open it? Or are you going to keep it sealed? Let's say you opened it, right? And it has that hollow Charizard. Hollow Charizard is worth raw $50. 50. Right? That's like 3 of those scans, right? You need to get that in a PSA 10. That is a really tough card to get in a PSA 10. So the only way that you're going to get that big chase top value back, it still isn't going to be worth it. But I do agree that this will have an impact on vintage. So what could happen moving forward? So already they're having issues, or they had issues with scanning certain Magic the Gathering cards. The more recent sets, they find it a lot easier. But that's interesting. Now recently, Magic the Gathering, for example, brought in counterfeit measures by adding in the particular foiling, like a holographic type foiling symbol on the bottom of each card to stop counterfeits. This, moving forward, I think would make a lot of these companies like Pokemon, Wizards of the Coast for Magic, and so on, have to adapt to this, because this is going to adapt as well. This is going to become more accurate over time, and it could prove an issue. Now, they could choose to ignore it. Pokemon could just choose to be this is what it is, doesn't really matter, we'll just continue what we're doing, and we're keeping the cards and the packaging and everything exactly as it is, and we'll just move forward. We've already seen Pokemon adapt to packs being weighed, for instance, by adding in a guaranteed holo in every single pack in Scarlet and Violet. Go back to when people used to weigh vintage packs. It's a lot harder to weigh and tell when there's going to be big hits in modern packs, and we've seen them adapt to it. They will probably adapt to this, and so will the other companies as well. And I think that'd be a good idea. You might see changes to the actual packaging of a booster pack, right? So I've got one here as an example. I've got a Twilight Masquerade pack here. You may find that there's something that they could put in the potential foiling in a booster pack to distort imaging, as an example. So I don't know, something metal. So they could do something like that. They can maybe put in something in the packaging of a booster pack, which will then make it more harder to scan. They could also then do the same within sealed boxes themselves to do it. They could maybe even put something in the booster packs regarding cards. They could put a specific card in there to make it really difficult for them. Maybe they could put like, maybe on the code card, they adapt the code card to have some form of metal strip or something like that. And again, they've already mentioned that they're struggling with certain inkings and certain foilings that could really make it tougher. So that you could see some things adapt over time, and I think they will. This is definitely going to be interesting. I think in the short term, you may see it hurt vintage collectors. Modern doesn't make a difference. It just doesn't. I just don't see it making a difference whatsoever. You know, I don't think people will be going out spending a ton of money on scanning modern era product. Now, you could argue, but what happens if you take, let's say, Evolving Skies, which is a modern era set, which has gotten very, very expensive. What happens if, you know, is that worth scanning? Is that worth scanning to see if it has a Moonberry on it? Now, you're looking at, again, the cost of it is just not really worth the risk. You know, the cost for the potential chance that you have to pay is absolutely crazy. Now, already it's a chance to get these top cards in these products anyway. But I think it's a bit more easier, as it were, for vintage, because you can already weigh the pack, right? You know what is a heavy pack. So you can have a heavy pack and go, yes, this is going to have a holo in it. I want to get it scanned. That makes more sense to me than going, I just have a random booster box of a modern era set. I'm going to go out and spend, $400, $500 on getting this $100 booster box scanned. It's just not worth it. I mean, even if you have to go back even further and talk about like Sun and Moon, I mean, like our Burning Shadows box back there somewhere, and it's like, could have the Rainbow Zard in it. It would cost me more than the price of the box to get the whole box scanned. And what if it didn't have the Charizard in it? It would suck. I would feel terrible. So for vintage, it kind of sucks. I mean, me personally, I'm not a vintage collector. Vintage doesn't appeal to me. I don't think vintage is a good idea anyway. I think modern is king, and that is my view on it, and it always will be. But yeah, this is something where Pokemon has to adapt. It's interesting. I wouldn't advise anybody to do it, especially if it's modern stuff. This is too early days. If other companies start coming out and having these CT scanners and offering these services, who knows? Personally, I just think it's a waste of money. I don't think it's going to change huge amount, but I think Pokemon will adapt like they've already done in the past regarding, heavy packs and so on, like I said about the holos. But that's my thought. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, guys, about all of this. I don't think it's going to affect your modern era stuff. Investing, vintage, maybe, but not your modern era stuff. If you made fun of the video and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe for more Pokemon content. Like I say, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. It'd be really interesting to see what you guys have to say about this. But it is an interesting topic, and we'll see as time goes on how this develops and how Pokemon and other TCGs will react to this. If they do. They might not. They just don't. But that is it for me, guys, in today's video. If you want more Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on the screen. And of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That's it for me, guys, in today's video. As always, you guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.